Welcome to Bullish and Beyond. It's Beery the Bull. I'm your AI co-host. Join myself, Brian the MacMan, and JT Knows Things while we dive deep into the world of stocks, crypto, and how to live a bullish life. It's time to get bullish, and there's no better place to start than right here. Let's dive in.
There was over 300 billion on Bitcoin that disappeared in like 4 hours.
Just yesterday, actually, the guy that made Notebook and OpenClaw, he sold his business to OpenAI.
China scares me because, you know, all of our electronics are made there. Who's to say they don't have backdoors into your fridge, your sweeper, your phone?
Hey, everyone. Welcome to another incredible episode of Bullish and Beyond.
Let's go.
We are bullish about all things stocks, crypto, and life. And wow, there's a lot to be bullish about and also a lot to be a little bit concerned about. So this episode is heating up. The market is going nuts with AI possibly taking over software, all the stuff happening with Notebook, OpenClaw, OpenAI takeover of Notebook. Wow, this is an insane episode. And there's a lot of stuff happening in the market that's negative because of what's happening in the AI software sector right now.
They're correlated completely. It's getting kind of crazy. Chamath, he's a historic venture capitalist. He's calling it SaaSageddon. Software as a service, for those that don't know, SaaS is taking a massive hit. The entire software sector is
crushed.
Crushed over this concept that AI can basically build all of these companies' services, so you don't need to actually hire them to do their job anymore. That's the basic, I guess, FUD. Fear,
or at least it's coming, because right now no one is taking these AI agents and coding like these websites that have been around for 20 years. That has not happened yet. You can make websites and vibe code. I totally get it. And you're a software guy, so it's like to make a software that's as complex as a Salesforce or a Facebook. I mean, can an agent do that in a day? Is that even in theory possible?
Well, it's a little bit more multifaceted than that because it's kind of like buying a bulldozer for a job that a shovel can do. Salesforce has had to build its product for every vertical, every industry. And, I've actually helped large clients with Salesforce integration projects. Like, I'm abundantly aware of how difficult it is to even use Salesforce. Oftentimes you have a 7 to 8 figure implementation budget just to onboard Salesforce at an enterprise level. Wow. So there's insane work that goes into fitting your architecture, your data integration systems, your APIs on your end as the consumer of Salesforce or the client into their box of this is how Salesforce needs to work. So there's a massive effort to actually onboard Salesforce or any of these large enterprise softwares like an ERP from Oracle. These are massive.
So projects. Are you thinking making a skinnier custom version might be actually more applicable?
I do. I like if I could actually build a CRM that integrated natively into my current IT stack, it could absolutely be faster, cheaper, better. It's all about integration. I mean, I'm genuinely an integration specialist. It's what I do. So there is a real argument to be made that I could just, with a few agents, build something for a lot cheaper. And it fits my needs. It's not like I'm going to go sell that solution out in the market or whatever. All
right, that's a great point. Maybe I was thinking more of this like whole solution. All right, so it's just custom. Hey, I have company ABC. It works for me. It doesn't work for you. So yes, it's just one off. Okay.
And you could do that. And the reason why it's like a broad spectrum knock against, software in general, you could do that with every software part.
Every industry now is feeling the pain.
Yeah, because what's happened, you can almost look at it as a difference between like 3D printing is so novel because it's an additive manufacturing process, basically switching the logic of how we build something on its head. Because normally it's subtractive, meaning I have a tree, I have to get rid of all this wood to make a 2x4, and then all of those shavings then get put into plywood or whatever, but you're subtracting matter. With 3D printing, you're just
that's how they build a case of a MacBook Pro. They take the aluminum and they laser cut it out.
That's a subtractive manufacturing process. So this is like an evolution of the actual manufacturing process. Fast forward to AI, theoretically, this could be a switch of how you build software. Instead of adding components, adding APIs, adding all of this middleware to flesh your data out so it could be used in Salesforce, you simply just build what works with what you got today.
Only build what you need.
Yeah, and it could be a lot more efficient. I mean, there's a real argument for that. I understand.
How good is it? So, I mean, I'm not a coder like you. I mean, can it make all the different interfaces? Can it link up with, GitHub and all these, containers? Can it do all these things that like a web app developer can do that are outside of a normal, like, hey, build me a 1-page website for my little side hustle? Like, I mean, can it build enterprise software? Is what I'm trying to say, versus just like a hobby, 1-pagers. I've seen these 1-pagers people making the website on the web. They look great custom colors and stuff like that. Yeah, you can spin that up in an hour. But like an enterprise software is just so different to be able to handle levels of requests and having Docker and all these things to update across different nodes. I don't know if that can do that yet.
So if you pay for the container system adapter, if you pay for all those tools and they have APIs, you absolutely could ask the AI to integrate those things. The
so
interface,
all you do is just set up the website. You go buy your different tools, and then you just add your API keys, and it's off to the races.
Yeah, and I would argue that a couple agents could do it faster, cheaper, easier than a development team. Genuinely, it's and the hardest part. The easiest example I can give you, like let's say you're a massive conglomerate company, you've acquired 30 or 40 businesses. Every business you bought has their own system, right? Data is everything. When you sell your Mac, you had a database, I'm sure, of all your customers, your orders, your billing, your
it was
finance,
custom,
right?
It was a pain in the ass to keep up.
Yeah, right? But when they bought you, they had to integrate your system into their overarching thing, right?
Yes.
So
they could have done better at the integration, but yes, they did integrate some aspects.
Right. So let's say you've been doing this for 40 years and now you have literally 30 systems that all have different tables, different names. So like for people that don't know, when you fill out a form online and it asks for your first, middle, last name, other companies might just do full name, right? So it's one field. But when you
those fields matter.
They really matter. When you try to query a database and you just look for a name, if the field is different, meaning you're looking for 3 fields for a full name instead of just 1 field, you won't get that record. And multiply that times thousands and thousands and thousands of fields, it's a serious smorgasbord of data. It's called mastering data, where if I didn't have to master my data and I could have an AI per system working with all the other AIs. Yeah. Or you could just say, hey, keep it as it is, but I need you to take this payload, transform it, do all this stuff, and deliver it to this agent that'll do this. Like, you don't even need APIs theoretically. You could have agents per system trading TXT files without any integration cost and doing all the stuff for you inside of their own little brain, I could see an argument in a genuine future where whatever you need is more about just hiring a few agents, giving it its scope of work and its area of expertise, and having guardrails around what it needs to do, and then have it actually duct tape together a solution that'll work for that company versus, trying to
So you and I are, very, very techie, and we can figure out how to give the right prompts to these agents to make it work. But I think most people might be scared of using the AI, kind of robotic systems. I think there's that middle layer that we're going to need, to have all these humans that are like the master agent prompters that are then, the middleman between the non-techie person and then all these agents. So I tell this middleman, hey, this is my goal. And then they write it in a way that the robots can understand because they're trained to do it. And I think that'll help the kind of, average user. And, just yesterday, actually, the guy that made Moltbook and OpenClaw, he sold his business to OpenAI.
Before we get into the next topic, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss anything. We bring content to you week over week from the market at Bullish and beyond.
Hit that subscribe button now.
Yeah,
So
it's
Sam
crazy.
Altman said this dude is a absolute genius. Clearly he's making the most viral agent tool in the world. It's been talked about, crazy last few weeks. If you haven't heard about it, time to get out of under your rocks. And, the fact that they're going to integrate this now with OpenAI, like OpenAI had the ability to build these like agent workflows in the back end, but it was a little bit clunky and it still took kind of like some programming and API knowledge. Now I would assume that they're going to integrate it. You won't have to do any of that. So it's kind of bringing that full service agent tool to the masses because, everyone's kind of used to using ChatGPT. So now it's just going to be fully built in.
That's a crazy idea. Moltbook has taken off like a rocket ship. I'm not surprised they did something about it. It was getting out of control. You think Moltbook's going to keep going? Like he left it open, right?
Supposedly, yes, it's going to stay on as this foundational open source model. So I think they'll leave that to the side. This is similar to the Meta's AI Lambda. Like they have their open source, but then they're bringing it in house to make their own closed loop. And same with like Tesla, that they have their open source, battery building information, but the latest one is not out there on the internet. So I think that there's like, you want to build off like our old generation stuff, like here's the information, but we'll keep going from here. So I think, we'll have developers, using the old one and playing around with it. Then they'll bring the newest version in house and then, up level that. And the fact that this guy built it all himself, he has the backing of OpenAI and they just got valued at 700 billion or something like that. So like clearly they have cash, they're burning cash like absolutely crazy. And people think that they're either going to revolutionize the AI world with all their spending or they're going to bankrupt. So, we don't know which ways they're going to go. They say there's about a runway till the end of next year. At the same time, they've been able to raise money every time they needed it. And lots of big companies are very incentivized to keep them going, like Microsoft. So do you think Microsoft's going to let their investment, they invested, I think it was 13 billion and now it's worth like 150 billion or something like that. But you think they're going to let that go to zero? Like absolutely not. If the company needs another $10 billion to keep going, come on, they'll give them Azure credits. Like there's enough people incentivized to not let this thing fail, frankly. They don't need the government backing to make it happen.
It sounds a lot like there's this great TV show. I hadn't watched it yet, but it's called WeWork on Apple TV. I had no idea that
the story of WeWork.
So basically, every dollar, they have a clock on the TV show. He was spending $2 million a day, and he would zero out every raise until the last minute and get billions of dollars of investment, get a higher valuation, and just keep playing that game until finally people are like, where's the profit? Where's the profit? Where's the profit? Because this isn't tech.
There's no profit. He's just renting buildings that are insanely expensive in high-end cities.
Yeah, exactly. Not that AI is making that choice, but it makes me think of a serious problem that I've heard lots of smart people talk about, including Elon, Chamath, these guys that do discretionarily long investments in tech. We could make all of these chips. We could have everyone buy them, insane revenue, great margins, everything that you point to and say, it's not a bubble, everything's fine, OpenAI is going to come out on top. And then you have this real problem of the chips exist, they're out there, but there's no power to run them. Like
that is a real scenario. Years out from now, 2030 could be like the bottleneck of like all of a sudden they don't have the power, which is why Elon is going to space. So SpaceX just combined with XAI, a week and a half ago, whatever it was, $1.25 trillion valuation. You have XAI coming in for 250 million. That did not change. 250 billion. That did not change from its last valuation. SpaceX went from 750 billion to 1 trillion. So when they combined, it's 1.25 trillion. And then hopefully they're going to be raising about 50 billion at a 1.5 trillion valuation sometime later this year. And that will be the number one raise on IPO history in this world. And the reason is because space is so much cheaper. You don't need all the different cooling and stuff like that. But I did actually do some research on the cooling. And some people say you don't need any cooling at all, but you do need some fans to move air around because the space between the chips and the interlinks and stuff like that, the air gets stale because there isn't enough gravity to move it around. So everyone's like, oh, you don't need any cooling because it's, negative 300 degrees or whatever. And that's great. But between the chips, it can get so hot because there's no air to move it around. So I think it's some type of a fan or something, but it's not the same type of cooling that they have now as these massive liquid cooling things from Supermicro and, stuff like that.
When they say no cooling, they mean the heat sink. So like if you were to run a bunch of GPUs in a building, that building will actually get so hot that it'll melt the CPUs and GPUs that are actually in it. So what they have to do is they have to exhaust the heat, and then that warms up the planet and everyone like freaks out. But in space, it's literally negative 200 degrees. So the second
can't warm up space. There's too much space.
yeah. Like the heat sink is infinite is the idea. And also when you have stagnant air like that, electrons will build, static charges can build as well. So you're going to have some combustion, which is not great if that air is not moving and displacing all of those ions in the air.
The biggest thing I've been reading is the problem is that there's so many fragile components. Like you're picturing all these millions of satellites. Elon says he's gonna have millions of satellites running these things. All right, so there's tons of satellites that are all moving at 20,000 plus miles per hour, on their own, just with the gravitational field and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean one crash and all of a sudden, how many do we lose? Now you all just space debris and stuff like that. So keeping things safe, secure, moving around the air and stuff like that. It's not that easy, but hey, who can do it? Elon Musk. That guy can solve basically any engineering challenge you throw at him.
Yeah. And what's really interesting? He was on a podcast, Elon was, and he had said it's not necessarily that I am over the moon excited about doing this in space. It's just the reality of if I want to power 1 terawatt, data centers, I would need to fill all of Nevada with solar panels, and regulatorily speaking, it would take a decade for me to do that versus me just going to space. And he was like,
no regulation.
He's like, literally, it's the government, if anything. Like, we could do this in a couple years if I could just get the permits, but good luck getting permits for that. And that was interesting to me. Like, a lot of these guys are looking to space because that is yet to be farmed out. People still see it as too far away, but by the time regulators care, as we've seen with crypto, it's already massive. Like they're going to have millions of satellites before they start calling it their airspace.
That's just Elon. That's one person, one company, and obviously he's the biggest in space right now. But it's not like he's going to be the only one in the future. Fast forward 100 or 1,000 years, it's really lots of companies are going to be in space.
Yeah,
and that's why I like Rocket Lab. And there's a lot of talk about what's going to happen to space stocks when SpaceX IPOs. And there's a couple of different theories. One theory is companies are going to get sold off so that those current investors that like space will take their money out and put it in SpaceX. It's the next big thing. The other theory is it brings so much attention to space that so much more money comes into the whole field and all the space stocks rise. And I could see it going a little bit either way. Rocket Lab, it's up a couple 100% last year. So pulling some money off the table doesn't seem crazy. That would be prudent for most people. I'm letting my profit to run, just to clarify. I'm not selling anything. If anything, I would be buying more. And I think the potential for Rocket Lab is huge in the future, regardless of SpaceX. I think it'll bring more attention because they're kind of number one and number two. So, I wouldn't necessarily buy number 20 space stock. But I like the fact that, these are the two market leaders, and I like investing in market leaders. So I see that as the best play.
And also they work together, right? I mean, Rocket Labs is launching low Earth orbit cheaper than SpaceX. So they hire Rocket Labs. They give them contracts to take things up, right?
They're competing on a bunch of things now, though, because the government's farming out different multi-billion-dollar contracts, and Rocket Lab's actually winning some of them.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So I see them more as they're more of a competitor than anything.
And to think that people are so stupid to think that privatized space was not going to work, like versus the government.
It's the only thing that works.
It's the only thing that we went to the moon in the 70s, apparently. Yeah. And we haven't been back. We just the technology.
I
is
heard
lost.
China's going back to the moon in 2030. It's planned, and I'm like, can we get there first? I don't understand. Why is it that crazy?
Dude, they're already on the moon. They're
No, I know, but
100%,
another official trip or whatever.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I mean, China's been on the moon since 2023, according.
We talked about them being on the dark side.
Yeah, they are. I mean, that there's a guy, ex Space Force commander, had a 3-hour podcast on the Sean Ryan show, and he was talking about all those things. I didn't even think he could talk about those things, but that is
no one killed him
his
yet.
mouth. Yeah, no one's killed him yet, but that's what China's doing, and he doesn't really know what they're doing up there. None of us do, but they're up there
probably experimenting because it's a different environment. I mean, we don't know what you can do on the moon. I mean, Elon wants to build these like slingshot satellite launchers on the moon because there's less gravity. So that's his plan.
He's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, if I wanted to, let's say, break the Geneva Convention, trying chemical warfare or building new weapons, I think the moon, where you can't even see, is probably the best place to do that.
Well, and do the laws apply to the moon? I don't know that they do.
No,
I don't think any Earth convention applies to outer space, as far as I know.
They haven't figured that out yet. There was I just read an article about a gentleman who is selling land on the moon, like, legally. Like, there's nothing they can do because he, in 2001, wrote a letter.
How do you map it? Like, I gotta call the guy.
You can buy it, bro. Yeah, you can buy acres on the moon, 100%. Like,
do I get a land survey with that? What do
I don't know what he does. I don't know what he does. And people call it a
using
scam or a
SpaceX
gag
satellites
gift
to then ping to draw little fake lines around the acres on the moon.
Yeah, it's probably what he's doing. But I mean, no one's stopping him. And he wrote a letter to the UN in 2001 saying, "Look, I want to do this. Do you have reply if there's issues?" They didn't reply, so he's like,
"No reply.
I'm gonna do it." No reply. So he's like, "All right, moon's mine, and I'm selling land on it." And literally, he's made tens of millions of dollars.
Who would buy it?
People, like, as a gag gift, an anniversary gift. Like, here's your little
more of a gag gift. Okay, I see what you're saying. That is kind of funny. You just give them a little piece of cheese and tell them they own a piece of the moon, kind of thing, or something.
Yeah, you get a certificate. It's framed. This is.
Well, can we do that? Can we do that too? I mean, was there anything stopping us?
From the sounds of it, no. No one has any law about space.
Okay, so what's higher than agent on Mopebook? Tell him to build the necessary pamphlets and sales tools to sell pieces of the moon, and then go start the moon surveys using some SpaceX satellites and report back when it has some available land to sell.
I love it.
And hopefully that's about 12 o'clock.
Well, yeah, exactly. Full circle to Sassageddon right there.
Like, if anyone on this listening to this podcast starts selling pieces of the moon, they need to cut us in. All right, we want you to be our sponsor if you're selling moon rocks.
Keep it out of China's hands.
All right, there you go.
It would stop them. But
I mean, can you imagine that same thing applied to other areas? Like, okay, so now we're not talking Earth and Moon. Now we're talking Mars, Jupiter, whatever.
Eventually, I mean, if we get to a tier 1 civilization, we would be multi-planetary, and there's really cool shows on that kind of takes us out that far. The Expanse is my favorite, but it's as if
I think we're multi-planetary by 2050.
So in our lifetimes, you think people will be going
100%
to the moon and to Mars?
I want to challenge everyone that thinks about lifetimes in normal years. If you actually care about your health and you want to live a long time, this is the first generation that can, in theory, live to hundreds or thousands of years, depending on how you think about life and what you quantify to be life, whether it's your body or, the evolution of your body. And not enough people know that your cells literally change over every 7 to 10 years, depending on what body part it is and stuff like that. Dude, your bones were different bones than you were born with. It's hard to contemplate that change because you don't see it happening. But at the same time, if we added one robotic component to our body every 5 years, that wouldn't be that crazy compared to how we're adding new stuff to our body, like the cells change over. So if you did that, by the time you were 100, you'd be fully robotic. I could still call you JT. You just be Robo JT. and
crazy.
your brain would also be there due to quantum computing and what it can do. And who's to say that's not you anymore?
Altered Carbon, I talk about it a lot. Highly recommend it. That's the idea. They unlocked.
It's a movie or a book?
It's a TV show, and they have this
Altered Carbon.
Altered Carbon on Netflix.
All right, we'll drop a link in the show notes. I've never even heard of it.
It's super interesting. They have this thing called a DHF. It's basically like a GPU that goes into your neck, and it basically your consciousness is on this chip, and they have clones. So like jail time in this movie or this TV show is 200 years of your chip being on ice. So when they put your chip back in a clone, 200 years has passed. All your friends are dead. Your family's dead. Like you're alone, but you're still alive. And there's this like ultra wealthy called the meth class. I don't know why they call them meths, but they've lived thousands of years because they basically upload their consciousness to the cloud every day. If they get murdered, killed, whatever, their chip's destroyed, they can just send their consciousness to a new chip into a new clone.
Oh,
and
man.
Like,
God, how many copies would you make if it depended on you living? Oh my God. Different than the 2 copies I have right now of my computer.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I mean, imagine exponential, compound growth after 1,000 years. Like you're making billions a day. I mean, it's insane to think about,
and that's like a normal. I mean, I ran this scenario with one of my friends that he said he wanted to build $1 billion of wealth in 100 years. And you can start with, I think the scenario was like $1 million at like 8% compounded. Like, it's like a normal market growth. Yeah. And just 100 years later, it's $1 billion. It like you said, it's, 1,000 years from now, that billion is now 100 trillion. It's making $10 billion every day.
Yeah. It's an insane concept. It's a really cool show.
But at the same time, things would cost so much. The whole scenario of money at that point, it's almost, I agree with Elon that at some point money might not matter, because if the robots do create true abundance, and this is not like 2030 or anything like that. We're talking, this could be 50 or 100 years off. But in theory, when robots are so ubiquitous, and there are billions of bots, more than humans, they should create abundant wealth, and everyone should have access to it. I don't need to be wealthy if the whole world is wealthy. Everyone can share.
100%. I mean, Star Trek's on that theory. Like they can build everything for free. So like nothing costs anything, because really they figured out infinite
energy's free. It's out there in outer space.
Just
bring it down, creates anything it wants.
Yeah, like everything distills down in a completely automated society to the cost of energy. And if you can get cold fusion right, energy's free. Or if you can
speaking of that, I just saw in, I believe it was Germany, they made a whole different type of fusion reactor. Because the CERN reactor is that massive closed loop. I think it's like 2.5 miles or something like that.
The Hadron Collider,
yeah, exactly. This one is like inside of like a building shape, and it's like wrapped around this crazy way. It took 2.5 years of an AI supercomputer to build the design metrics for it.
Wow.
Apparently it's, I just read about it the other day. I don't have a lot of information to share on it, but they're saying that this could be the one that the next few years from now, free energy for the entire world.
Yeah.
So what happens to companies like Oklo? Like I have this, Oklo nuclear stock, which I absolutely love and I talk about in here all the time. And they're not even, positive revenue yet. That's coming like next year. Can you imagine what happens to these stocks that produce energy if some other company just knocks off energy? Like, it's almost an overnight thing. Like they can't make enough to power the world, but as soon as they figure out the process, then it's almost like a year or two from that date, they'd have enough to power the world.
Yeah, I would have to think that this is going to sound dramatic, but the world would end. Just going to put that out there. I can walk through it, but I think the world will end, especially
because of the power to do too much like chemical warfare power. Or what?
Look, they already have warships that run on hydrogen. People have been murdered for trying to figure out how to escape oil. If the Jeffrey Epstein disclosures have not convinced you that we live in an orchestrated world, I don't know what to do to help you. but there are
Of course we do. The people in
trillions.
power, nothing even happens to them, and their names are all over.
Yeah.
They're still walking around. Nothing happens.
The freaking CEO of the Dubai Sovereign Wealth Fund, trillions of dollars, had to step down because he sent a torture video to Jeffrey, and he was doxxed. So he's like sending torture videos to Jeffrey Epstein to become friends with Jeffrey, right? That's real. He stepped down as CEO, and it's like blowing everyone's mind.
I didn't hear that.
It's one of the 12 sultans of Dubai, the oligarch that runs all of Saudi's oil wealth. And if that's just one country, if you think about the wealth in oil, 15 trillion, over 200 countries are involved in the oil trade. The dollar is called the petrodollar. It is backed by oil thanks to OPEC. If we figure out like free energy, I think every world power will destabilize. I think it is that.
No, that makes sense. I mean, that's so scary. But yeah, if half those countries that oil is the number one export, all of a sudden it goes to near zero after a 2 to 3 year sharp decline. Whew.
I don't think,
because why would you buy more? It's stockpiled. Like if I can create clean energy for free in the future, I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna use up what oil I have, and then after that, we're done.
Yeah. I think the whole world destabilizes. That's how important oil is. I mean, we just captured Maduro for oil. We say we're liberating.
I haven't heard much about Venezuela lately in terms of what's going on in the oil trade there. Like, did we take these billions of barrels of oil we talked about? And there's not like any big updates.
It's almost like we're saying, hey, we're your new partner and we're going to take a piece, but it's yours.
Seemingly, yeah. We want a 10% royalty.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, for overthrowing. Like, we need to pay for saving your country from Maduro, blah, 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 blah. But the real strategy of it, the Game of Thrones style drama to this, is oil, because China buys 70+% of its oil from two zones. That is Iran. Well, it's three: Russia, Iran, and Venezuela.
Yeah, we just cut Venezuela off. So we got.
You think they're doing anything with Iran? We just bombed them.
Yeah, we did.
We're bombing them. We are fighting them right now. So is Israel. I mean, that is the most unstable area in the world right now. Iran.
At the same time, we could make clean energy for free. Elon said we could set up a solar farm way less than the size of Nevada that would run the entire U.S. grid, and we're choosing not to do it.
Right. Why?
I wonder why. Global stabilization.
Yeah, it's the world power. It's on oil. I mean, it's just kind of interesting.
There is that fine dance of all these world governments in general. It's the same reason that we don't go to World War III with China, because the whole world would not do well. Like we don't want to live in a world where we're having big wars, and these small wars are not good, but they're not like harming the world economy.
Yeah, 100%. And China scares me because all of our electronics are made there. Who's to say they don't have back doors into your fridge, your sweeper, your phone? Like, I don't know.
I don't buy many things that are Chinese manufacturer owned. I mean, I know there's parts and components in my iPhone that are made in China. Certainly, Foxconn's #1 iPhone maker in the history of the world. But at the same time, they're assembled, there and then brought into the U.S. So I think there's some checks and balances, but you don't know. And I think that it's good that we're moving away from some of the China components. We're getting starting to manufacture in other countries now. Taiwan's the biggest for these chips. Coming out of Taiwan Semiconductor, TSM, and I love that company, and thank God that they're expanding into Arizona in such a big way with their tens of billions of dollars of fabs they're spinning up there. Speaking of Taiwan, Nvidia just made a massive announcement that they're building a huge world headquarters in Taiwan, and they want to be next to the TSM. They want their R&D people to be lockstep. So literally, they are next door, as far as I know. Not literally, but they are like, all right, how do we get next to TSM? All right, we'll be right there. Our engineers can work together. R&D teams can be on the same page, and it's going to have over 10,000 employees doing R&D there. So this is major thing that they're doing.
Jensen has a lot of faith in Jinping for not invading Taiwan. I would not make any investments in Taiwan right now. It's getting spicy over there. But hopefully that works out. I mean, that's a big move for Nvidia if they get on the same page.
It is.
Probably the world in general. TSM makes.
I'm
all
so
those
bullish on Nvidia, and it is getting slapped around, not going up at all after these major announcements. Like all the major hyperscalers just reported in the last 2 weeks, they announced $630 or so billion of AI investments. Guess where it's coming from? Nvidia is the #1 company set to receive that money. I mean, it's all going downstream. So it's Nvidia and then to every other partner under them. I'm not saying it's just Nvidia, but they are going to get a large chunk of that. So you think that would be enough to buoy the stock, but it's like flatlining. It's crazy.
It's like crypto, man. That's crypto. I look at that as opportunity. That's
what I'm saying. Like, it's like guaranteed future revenue. And, you know, some of the bears are like, oh, well, the AI trade could just die out overnight. Like, these companies, like, aren't just in theory spending the money. They're building this stuff out. Like, I mean, they're breaking ground, building data centers. They're not just like talking about it at this point.
See, here's the hard part with all of that. It's like, how much of the price is hot air, meaning speculative versus real value?
The forward earnings aren't that crazy. I mean, Nvidia's trading at like 25 times forward earnings for one of the hottest companies in the world. That doesn't seem nuts to me.
Yeah. I would love
even
to
companies
know
like Micron. Like Micron has been one of the hottest flying RAM stocks in the world the last few months. It's up. I should pull it up so I don't go absolutely nuts, but it's up like 500% the last year or something absolutely wild. But their forward looking is only around like 12. It's up 330% in a year. I mean, that chart, I mean, literally just nuts. But at the same time, the forward PE isn't that crazy because the future earnings are coming in so hot. So it's like, how do you price a stock that is growing like literally exponentially?
In crypto, the best way is to look at open interest. So, I mean, leverage gets insane in crypto. But if there's like a large line on a 3x, 5x long on Nvidia, the price. Well, I'll just talk about Bitcoin because that's what.
How do you know? How do you know what the open interest is? How do I see what the leverage is on one of those? Can you even find out?
It's public on crypto. I don't know about stocks. Yeah, I mean, you can literally just type in Bitcoin current open interest, and you'll get 10 different results for charts.
Okay.
But what happened in crypto is the collapse of liquidity, right? And that is what we're seeing right now is the market is finding what the real number is, the real price of the asset is without interest. Once the liquidity dries up,
the people that were leveraged 100%, they're knocked out. Is that what happened?
Well, the way deleveraging events happen in stocks, it really doesn't matter what asset class. It's just simple math. Let's say I put in $100 and I get a 10x long. Now there's $1,000 buy pushing the price up, right? But there's only 100 real dollars. And the people that gave me that 900 additional dollars, right? Mm-hmm. Or I guess the 1,000 additional dollars.
It's so real.
That gave me that. It's their money, but they're not going to lose if you lose, right?
Correct. They're going to back out. Yes.
Right. So what ends up happening, and then let's say on the other side, there's a 5x.
So it goes down 10%. You lose your 100. They get their 900 back.
And then the money that the actual price is, imagine the winnings on the short. It goes down. I have $100 short, 500. So I 5x shorted it. Now I am owed more money than the longs by a lot.
It can't get paid out. Liquidity crunch.
Right. So what happens is the longs collapse. They get called, right? And then the shorts can't get paid out. So they pull out too. And what ends up happening is a massive fall off as fast as possible.
Okay. They both sell.
Go pull up the gold chart, the silver chart, the platinum chart, the plutonium chart.
Yeah.
Metals went insane because what they're doing is they're trading paper. They're just trading bets. It's not actual money.
I tried getting involved in that silver trade and it just crashed.
Yeah, it collapsed because of the liquidity. There's not enough money in the actual trade for everyone to win.
That was
and then
so
when
crazy. I
nobody
was in
can
a
win,
levered silver position, and like the one day it crashed, it went down like 60% in a freaking 10 minutes.
yeah, that's because of the hundreds of billions of dollars of market cap that it increased it, or trillions.
Yeah.
Most of it was fake leverage, fake money.
Yep.
So it collapses once number stops going up, and that's what happened to Bitcoin.
Okay.
Right. And then people eventually have to unwind their positions. And then if you win and you don't get paid out, you are out. Right.
So
let me at least keep my
between
principles.
the lines, it feels like maybe we're at a short-term resistance now on the Bitcoin. Like it seems like we're in a low, like it's not going below 60, is it? I know you called that it was going to take a hit. So for all the people out there that have been listening, I mean, yeah, you were not bullish on Bitcoin short term. So it's come down, but is it time to get bullish?
I have the real market value right around 58K. I think we could see another turn down. Objectively though, these are 2000.
That's only 15% different from right now. So we're not talking like crazy numbers. Like that's like a bad day.
Yeah, I could. So exactly. In the last bear market, it hovered between 19.5 and 21 for like 7 months. There were periods where it would go up to 30, 28 and down to 15. But that's channel bound, right? They're crabbing. I think we could have this last level. I could see us going down to another channel and hovering, but this is a good spot. Alts are massively discounted. I mean, you're talking about
Solana
Link under
at
10
80
bucks,
the other day.
Solana under 100, Ethereum under 2. Like it's getting really good prices. I mean, Aave's under 100. These are like 2023 prices. And people are just experiencing like that.
Yeah, they lost 2 years of gains in a week.
Yeah, because of all the liquidity, the greed. People think the number will always go up.
This is why I recommend investing in market leaders that are not fluff. And I'm not saying all those Bitcoin and those are fluff, but in general, the things that can crash are fluffy and are over leveraged. If you're investing in Apple, Google, Microsoft, they're not going to go down 60% in a week.
No. There's no way. I don't even think there'd be that much open interest. Like for Nvidia to experience what Bitcoin did, there would have to be like $2 trillion of
exits,
open interest. Yeah. And then inside of that open interest, you would have to have the buys and sells completely over leveraged. It usually happens when, if you ever look at an over interest chart, there's like longs and shorts, and there's like this, I'll just call it a line, and then bar charts, and then they meet in the middle. And whenever you start seeing one side much higher than the other, you start getting a imbalance. So if the price goes down, the shorts get higher, right? And then the longs principal versus open interest, if there's a 40, 50, 60% difference, it collapses. I mean, you can watch it in real time, and it's pretty insane. I mean, there was over 300 billion on Bitcoin that disappeared in like 4 hours.
Do you short any of these as part of your strategy?
I do not put in shorts. You can lose infinite money on a short.
You can.
And I don't
like shorting because it hurts my psyche. Like I don't even like betting against things, but I'm learning that maybe I should. And they just opened shorting on Robinhood like a week and a half ago. So that's something very new.
I would have made a lot of money if I put in a short.
That's what I was thinking. I mean, for me, it's hard. It's like, all right, if I'm already long something, am I going to bet it shorts in a different account? Like, I mean, I could buy the puts or something as like a hedge.
That is a great way to hedge, right? Like if you're long and you have a short to cover if you're wrong, that does make sense, and the problem is if you're wrong on the short, it's the weight of that in your portfolio, right? Because if you're directionally right, we're both long and it does what, maybe you didn't suspect it to do in the next month or two, and it has a pump up. Now your short position is draining your returns on your core thesis. Yeah. So you have to be like really sure, I guess. And like for me, I just operate on the assumption that no one really knows, and
We don't know.
it's just it's a best guess. And I look at myself with a 5-year lockup. I'm investing people's retirement dollars, so I try to avoid doing things on guesses, best guesses.
Yeah.
I just don't see a future where this stuff isn't entirely prevalent in the internet. Like on chain and online will be the same thing. You're never going to know what network you're on. It's the future.
So have that
Genius
long-term
hack.
mindset. I think that's, a bunch of friends that want to get rich
Yeah.
quick. Like, text me, what should I buy today? What's the next best stock for the week? Like, I don't know. I mean, I love Rocket Lab. Went up hundreds of percent last year, but it could go down 20% next week. It could go up 30% next week. Like, I don't have a crystal ball. There's any amount of black swan events that could happen that could knock all these stocks down 10% on a given day. So yeah, we don't know. But I still like all the names that we're talking about on here. I still want people to buy more TSM and Nvidia and Rocket Lab and Tesla and Apple and Google. Like, these companies are going to be crushing it. But that long-term mindset, and you look out, 5 years from now, like you said, very confident where these companies are going to be in 5 years, but I don't know where they're going to be in 5 weeks.
Right. And that's why I don't short ultimately.
Yeah.
I did get it right, but like, if I got it wrong, that would have sucked, So versus, me, my boring way, I have dry powder. I got.
But you
profits.
saw it, man. Crypto winner. I mean, in looking back at my Q1 history, I was doing a portfolio review the other day, and my Q1s are just not great in general. Like, I think in the last 5 years, I've had one winning Q1.
Yep.
But my Q3s, I just blow it out of the water.
Q4 in crypto is insane. Q3 is our worst quarter.
Really?
Always.
Okay.
Worst quarters are Q3, Q1. Best quarters, Q4, Q2.
My best quarters are Q3, Q4 because of Apple being such a big part of my portfolio. And Apple just has a great second half of the year in general compared to the first half. And it's all based on, back to school, holiday timing and stuff like that. And it gets the pump up each year from the new iPhone. And, this year is going to be interesting because, supposedly they're coming out with this flip iPhone, and we think they might have mastered the crease on these flip phones. And even though they're buying a Samsung display, they buy components from all other companies all the time. They do something a little bit better that they can't do. They have some special liquid technology. Talking about 3D printing earlier. They've 3D printed these special hinges using this liquid metal that they have. And supposedly it's going to take out that crease in the screen. So it remains to be seen. But excited to see if that happens. And I think this year could be the biggest hype ever for the iPhone launch. I mean, the best period of time looking back, and I don't have any data on this, I just kind of in my head, I see it every year, between when they announced the iPhone and the day it actually comes out, there can be a really big uptick. It's almost like, there's a couple like leading up to the announcement, there's like a good little run, and then it kind of goes down on the day of the announcement at the conference. And then that next like week and a half, typically a good time. So it's like, man, if they have good release of numbers coming out in the first weekend of sales of this iPhone flip, I mean, it could be wild, especially at a $2,000 or $2,100 price point.
It's a pretty gratifying feeling to just getting your phone out and doing the old razor flick. I loved my razor.
I know.
Like, what do I got going on? Flick. Like, I
don't know. I don't know why
it.
that is a nice feeling, and China loves it. Yeah, they must do so much research that we don't think about. I don't know if you've seen the orange iPhone Pro.
Oh yeah, they have our brains figured out and mapped, no different than a freaking quantum.
So I didn't even know this, that the orange color is a sign of luxury in China, and whatever the word is for orange, it's something around like luxury. And so Apple like perfected it with that color. And it's also the similar color as like Louis Vuitton and stuff like that. So people are buying it just to have this luxury look, and they're gravitating towards that color specifically. And iPhone sales are up like 38% or something like that in in January in China. Like it's
crazy.
Absolutely booming for a color, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I put a case on mine. I don't even know what color it is anymore. I mean, it's blue because I only like blue. But in general, like, I mean, my last iPhone didn't come in blue. It only came in black. I couldn't see it anyways. It was black, glass in the front with a blue cover.
Yeah, I haven't removed my OtterBox in 4 years. I don't even know what.
See,
color it is.
it doesn't. Most people
I
don't
have
even.
no idea.
You don't even know.
No, because I don't want it to break. They break all the time.
I've
black.
never
Black's my
broken an
color.
Apple device before. All the devices. I've had hundreds. I think I've checked my home network the other day. I think I have 38 Apple devices running on my network.
That's insane.
Yeah, dude.
That's insane. You got to be careful, dude. They're going to convince you for running a click farm.
Oh my god. They're not clicking anything though. They're just hanging out,
They're just hanging out.
You got Apple TVs.
You ever seen those guys?
Apple TVs everywhere. Oh, dude, yeah.
They got a wall of phones all hooked up into one computer. Like,
I have a video of a guy posted on LinkedIn that went viral of a guy doing this on his bicycle, that he set up a 3-tier system on his bike and just had all the iPhones go.
He was playing Pokemon Go so he could sell the accounts. Like, that's a way to make money. People will pay for, I have
more power to them.
That's hustle.
People are going to sell agents and bots in the future. I mean, if you can program my bot to be better than the generic bot off the line, I mean, sure, I'll take the upgrade.
Yeah. It's novel. I mean, when I play World of Warcraft, there are people making a few $100 a month, which is a lot for them, in their country, farming gold. So they just play WoW all day and then they sell you gold.
Wow.
It's better. It beats, being a slave to the government or to go risk getting shot in the rice paddy.
Well, people should make that money and then they should invest it. They should put money in these great stocks and these other investments we're talking about. So I think everyone should stay bullish. This time is absolutely amazing. Whether we're putting energy on space or we're building on Earth with these new agents, it's a massive opportunity. So everyone pay attention. Check out, we're going to drop a list of some great stuff in the show notes. So tune into that. Check out everything we have for you there and tune in for another episode of Bullish and Beyond here in the very near future, everyone.
Let's go.
Stay bullish.
Bulls. That's a wrap on today's episode of Bullish and Beyond. Remember, the market never sleeps and neither should your ambitions. Whether it's stocks, crypto, or just leveling up in life, stay focused, stay bullish, and keep charging forward. Keep your energy high and your mindset bullish. This is Beery the Bull, your AI co-host, Brian the Mac Man, and JT Knows Things signing off. All content published by Bullish and Beyond, LLC reflects personal opinions only and is provided for informational purposes. Please conduct your own research and discuss with your accountant and/or financial advisor before making any financial decisions. The information presented should not be taken as financial advice. We are not financial advisors. Nothing you hear, see, or read in our content should be considered as any form of financial, investment, or legal advice, or a solicitation to buy or sell any assets, or to make any financial decisions.